growth marketing team here at DronaHQ, and I'm so pumped that you all could drop by. We're all set for a very informative session, and you're going to take back a lot of new insights that could change the way you build internal tools and apps for your business. In just a few moments, we'll be joined by our host, by Kinjal, and we'll be taking up the questions and the answers to which can really help you simplify and accelerate your app development projects. But before we jump into that, I'd just like to share some housekeeping rules. You can check out the questions-AMA channel where some of you have already started posing questions. Please use this space to drop your questions or vote for the questions that you find meaningful, and our host will be taking them up during the main event. Going forward, you can drop by our Discord server at any time to quickly, instantly connect with one of our team members to get some help or share your app achievements or brainstorm some ideas or help out other users. For those of you who are new here, I'd just like to communicate that DroneHQ is a fast way to build comprehensive internal tools and operational apps at a very rapid speed using an advanced visual drag and drop editor. So if you're looking for ways to build an admin tool, a front end for your database, a data collection form, unified web portals for your many disparate business systems, you are in the right place. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn the wheel over to Kinjal. Our presenter today is the head of marketing at DroneHQ. She has been driving the role at DroneHQ for over a decade, during the course of which she has guided thousands of users on their internal tool engineering affairs on some of the world's best known startups and businesses. Her problem solving skills and abilities and a strong hold over the subject makes her the go to person whenever you need help for, say, comparing a bunch of platforms for your use case or creating the optimum user experience for using tools like visual drag and drop editors and so on. Or if you just need a little boost to get back on track with your digital transformation efforts. Jill, over to you.
Hi Gayatri. Hello, how are you today?
Hey, hey, Kinjal, all good, all set here. Super pumped to get this show going.
Cool, cool. Great to have you all listening to me and Gayatri today. This is the very first AMA that we are hosting, and we are very glad to be doing this. We would love to do this on a continuous basis wherein you all can come over, ask more questions about the platform, the roadmap, the stack behind, the kind of information that you need which will help you arrive at the right decision probably, or maybe help you build your tools um, and apps, whatever you seek at this moment. Cool. Yes, Gayatri, you have any questions? Let's get this rolling.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yes, just to kick things off, I'd like you to, walk us through the journey that Zone HQ has been on. Maybe throw some insights into what has helped us come to this stage where we are offering this modern tool set for people to build internal tools on a visual drag and drop editor.
Cool. That's a very interesting question. So basically, lot of insights rely in the history. As we say, Drona HQ has been through a very long journey. To be very honest, we started off as a rapid app development tool for enterprises, and we're offering an enterprise platform to manage mobile and web apps, kind of an IDE and SDK. From that you can pick up few key points. We always were offering platform that is enabling the developers, the engineering teams to quickly develop the applications that they want. We were always into enterprise. By that I mean enterprise ready, which means adding a lot of security and compliance features that required a lot of covering a lot of cases and complexities, and we have spent months to build these early in our days. And the next point that I covered was we were mobile responsive and with a lot of features we always offered. And one more important criteria was the container and the sandbox. We always had this where we could host and run multiple apps. So this was from where we started, and then we evolved to the platform that we are today, a very mature platform. If you primarily understand, Drona HQ helps the developers and the engineering and the IT teams, be it a small team or a large enterprise, to build their business operational tools, mobile and web based tools with this modern tool set that we offer in the platform, which helps them build this visually in a very low code fashion. So our history of platform and enterprise centric platform with a containerized, all of this has been a very fruitful uh, features which has helped us and which favors us in the platform maturity level or the position that we are today. So that is about Drona HQ. Just about the journey. Yes, we have always been helping the IT engineers, the IT teams, and the digital teams, and that is where we have continued to now. And we aim to make their lives more simpler rather than doing monotonous work of redoing the whole front end applications or creating front ends for simpler jobs and internal operations and tools. Here is a modern tool set which can help you spare your time with for a lot of other engineering stuff.
Wow, that is a really rich history, Kinjal. And probably because of that, we can also assume that there is a very wide range of tools that people can build. Maybe that's something we can cover up. What are some common apps that you have seen getting built on Drona HQ?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. And from the history that I wanted to talk about, we also understood that hey, a lot of the software developers they were building probably they were looking up into large set of data, and for internal tooling, I'm talking about this specific niche. They were looking up into large set of data and querying them, maybe using some BI tools, and a lot of time reading those things, and when they wanted to write back they had nothing, so they had to start creating this front end console from scratch. And a lot of times they wanted to create those kind of admin panels, those kind of custom tools integrating their specific data sources, and quickly run some queries and check the customer data or partner data or something like that. So basically they started creating these applications for internal usage within their teams, maybe their business operation teams, marketing teams, the customer success teams. And fundamentally we understand that there were this basic few blocks which were repeating every time for creating these applications. um, the same kind of UI building blocks. There were tables, there were buttons, forms, menus, charts. There were same kind of event handlers which were probably on a click of a button you want some flow of action to trigger, you want to write or read somewhere, you want to do validations and connecting to your data sources and connect to your services. So when we combine all this common thing, here was the answer that hey, a tool set which will help you do all this in a very quick manner. So that is what DronaHQ is. And when we look at the common apps which have been built, there are very simple apps and there are pretty complex and comprehensive apps built on the platform. Uh, it's a very broad platform, to be honest. Every day we see the horizon stretching more. We see the kind of apps that the customers are building are uh, newer kind of apps, and they might surprise us as well. We have seen from basic database lookups and dashboarding and business operational apps, and we have seen customers who have made tools to maybe manage their promo codes or discounts, maybe tools for quickly approving some refunds or approving leaves, licensing tools, their own invoice management tools, or a single dashboard wherein they can have quick transparency of data for a maybe customer success team, picking up customer data from various different databases and Salesforce and stuff like that. We have seen applications as simpler as an checklist for inspection of a floor or a shop floor or something like that, calculators. So the use case have been pretty mind boggling, and wow, I mean every day we see something new. And that's the kind of use case, internal use cases, B2B use cases and B2C use cases. It's amazing.
Wow, that is quite the list, Kinjal. You mentioned internal tools as being a niche, so maybe we can throw a bit more light on that. What are internal tools, or More specifically, who would be needing these internal tools? Is something that everybody can benefit from? Maybe you can throw some light on that.
Sure, sure. So basically, any tools which your teams are using within your organization to make their jobs faster, easier, are internal tools which are internal facing. So, development or IT team could be using set of tools to say deploy or see all the repos or all the PRs which are going to go live, but maybe they are still in review or they are still in pending edits, and how everybody else is blocking some other developers' jobs and stuff like that. It could be as simple as a dashboard like that. It could be a simple tool for customer success team who wants to say get access of the data of before uh, not just the ticket data, but also what all other products the customer bought, or also uh, which shipping partner the product was shipped via, and how they can answer the right details to the customer. Maybe it could be a tool for HR to quickly understand that, hey, um, what are the next for some employee onboarding or some job application tracking within the team or external. So those are all internal facing tools which can be quickly created, a kind of um, a quick front end, giving right access to the right people, not overwhelming them with lot of data. uh, those are the kind of tools that we're talking about. And specifically now, when I say who needs this kind of internal tools are a backbone of any organization. um, we have seen huge a very very large um, increase or a growth in organizations who have invested early on in internal tools, from Uber to Slack to Stripe. There have been a lot of these organizations who have invested huge amount of time on internal tools. When we had a research which said that around 40% of your time, of the team's time, can be saved when there are better tools within the organization to and make their job simpler and make the operations smoother. So any high growth companies which are on on a very high growth path, who are scaling at a very very rapid scale, uh, so those are the companies which are, maybe they are experimenting with a lot of new things. They want to bring their CAC down, or they want to bring they want to experiment with newer stuff. Tools can bring method to their madness. Whatever they want to try out, these kind of uh, quick go to market tools which help them try out newer things are essential to these high growth companies. And we have seen lot of these high growth companies who are on a very accelerated path. They would definitely are adopting to this adopt building of internal tools for their teams, so that they can quickly try out something new. They can try out, they can pivot, they can experiment and choose and eliminate the methods which are not working, and adopt the methods which are working. It could be from business angle, or it could be pricing, business model. It could be for IT engineering, it could be for operations. Every team and the department within the organization is adopting to building and using internal tools.
Method to madness. Wow, that is so well put. So clearly, there's a lot at play here when it comes to internal tooling and for helping people optimize their operations. I understand there's going to be a lot of integrations also involved, and people will have to be connecting their internal tools with other services. Can you share what kind of services we DronaHQ currently supports?
Good. DronaHQ supports various services. I mean, it supports all kind of REST APIs, or your gRPC, or GraphQL APIs. But for popular services like Shopify, SendGrid, Stripe, Twilio, Slack, Zendesk, For all this, we have built-in ready connectors. You don't have to again go through the whole documentation and try and connect those APIs. We have these ready connectors for majority of the services, and for any other APIs or services which are exposed, you can easily connect them and start using with DronaHQ.
All right, all right. I'd like to jump into some of the questions that people have shared in our Questions AMA channel. And since we are on the subject of
Sure.
integration, I'd like to talk about this one question in particular where the user wants to know how can you add custom APIs to their applications? Is there a standard process for all external APIs where a ready connector may not be available?
Yes, definitely. There is a section where you can go and add your connectors, add your standard. If it's not a standard API, it's a REST API, it is exposed on the web. You have an option to add your custom API in the connectors section, and you can connect your application to it. You can add different APIs endpoints to it and access all your applications can access that connectors.
All right, all right.
Did I answer the
There's one.
question? I hope so.
I hope so, because we definitely are looking at a lot of different variety of tools that people may be using, and a ready connector may not be there. So it's likely that we provide that option to users to be able to connect that their services, provided an API is available.
Yes, yes. We do have obviously it is like it, APIs are the backbone of any application, and if you haven't ready API, if there is no ready connector, we do support all API formats, and you all can integrate it with your application. Yes.
Awesome. I'd just like to take a moment aside and share with our audience once again. They can continue sharing their questions or putting up their questions in the Q&A AMA channel. Sorry, and we'll be taking them up one by one as we go along. So coming back to our questions, there's one in particular that has also received a couple of votes from other users as well. And it goes, so we talk about that we can build comprehensive apps a lot. Is it possible for you to share an example, or what level of complexity are we talking about? What kind of integrations are we talking about? Can you throw some light on that?
Sure, sure. So, comprehensive app, let me give you a simple or a example very close to our to us. We are internally using DronaHQ for a lot of our tools and applications within our organization, from HR to sales, marketing, and operations, finance. Everybody has created their own applications. And to tell you an extent of complexity, I can tell you we have seen we are using our own application as a CRM, created a very complex CRM, and as well as we have seen others customers who have created extensive custom sales tools like CRM for them as well. So by that I mean we have our own kind of an automation system in place, uh, wherein we track we have our own forms embedded on the website. We capture all the leads and track all that into a database. We have our um, uh, subscription status updated, notified to the sales team, to the marketing team whenever a new lead is captured or a status is updated from various different services and tools that we are using. Like we are using Drift for our live chat conversations. We are using a customer support tool like Freshdesk. We are using we have connected it to G Suite, and we are also connected to SendGrid for our emailing, and lot of internal platform usage APIs we have connected to understand the pattern of usage of the users, and all that data comes back into the CRM, wherein the whole journey of the user, the kind of emails which have gone to the user, the platform usage of the user, kind of points or notifications, everything, the listening elements are been captured in a very systematic manner, in a very comprehensive CRM kind of a structure has been built up. We have our own emailing tool and enriching tool, the kind of self-serving emails which goes to each user who logs into a free trial, or if somebody gets into a demo mode. So all such kind of a marketing automation and the CRM system has been built on top of this tool. It's pretty comprehensive, it's pretty advanced, and I have also seen customers using tools like Salesforce, maybe a very comprehensive and a very complex CRM system. They are building custom front ends for various teams on top of this tool. So Salesforce can be overwhelming for all the teams. Maybe there are too many fields to be edited and updated, and it can be overwhelming for a lot of teams. So hence, a very small and when some teams have to just fill in few fields, they would not want to load a bulky Salesforce application, and a very quick and an easy front end was created for this. So applications are enormous. We have seen from various teams integrating and various data we have integrated within the same application for our CRM, and a simple application also been created on their CRM. Those kind of tools have been done. We have integrated our own payment systems to this. If a customer pays or something as Stripe, we have connected our Slack to the whole system. So to be honest, it's a very very complex system that has been built, and it is built bit by bit. It is built in a very staged manner. Not everything was built on day one or day five, but if you would try to build something like this using any other normal software programming method, it would have taken you months, but this was probably made as a side project, as an internal tool while we were doing something else, or discarding or phasing out other tools that we never wanted. So probably a weeks is what we took to build this system.
Wow, that's like an entire universe worth of um, functionalities in one tool itself. Pretty comprehensive, and I hope that answers the question posed by Prags, I believe. I hope that I'm getting the pronunciation right. Moving on to the next question, I think it'll follow along rightly after this one is posed by Himanshu. He asks, can you explain how information flows in Drona HQ?
So, uh, I don't know what exactly do you mean by information flows, but what I am trying to understand is, if you are using if you're building a system or a tool in DronaHQ, you would connect to your data source. That's a backbone of your application. You would connect to your Postgre or your Snowflake or any other SQL, NoSQL, Mongo database, and either you want to connect it to read your data, maybe sets of huge amount of data. You would use your queries and pagination and stuff and get those data. Um, to the you would, after connecting it, you would put across your UI controls, we call them as controls components, on the screen, and you would connect a particular component to the data source that you, so if it is a table grid for an example, you would first do and connect your database and connect that to your table grid as a component, and write your queries and get the data. That, so that is one way. And if you're creating a form and on click of a button you would want to have the actions of submitting the data to a database, that would be, again, you connect to a connector and create your UI components on the front end. On the click of a button you write your actions which are again very visually defined actions. You don't have to do any JavaScript coding and stuff like that. So pretty simple for even non-programmers, but basic IT skills. They can have create this kind of applications, and the flow of data would be from that form back to your database. So that's the flow of information in DronaHQ. I hope I am answering the question correctly. If you have any other, if you mean something else, or if you have any other further questions to it, please do write up about it.
Sure. Himanshu, I hope that answered your question, and you can, again, as Kinjal mentioned, respond to the same thread. Moving on to the next one, and this is another one posed by one of our audiences, is can we export the code of apps that we build in DronaHQ and add to it?
It's a very interesting question. To be very honest, it's something like you can, um, if you export the code, the answer is yes. You can partially export the code, but you can export the code so that you can probably import it again into DronaHQ. And so basically every account is called a channel within DronaHQ. And if you have created your application in one channel, but your team is not in that channel and they are in some other channel, or you want to make this as a template and share it across in the marketplace and stuff like that, you can export the complete application, which is like in JSON, and import it back into DronaHQ. And maybe you can import it back into a different channel. And once you have created into your personal channel and you want to share it with some workspace channel, you can do it. That is easily doable within you. There is an option to export and import. But if you want to say, I want to export the complete code and then start editing from the rest part of it, that is not visibly the use case of I don't ask you, that is not uh, possible. You won't be able to, the whole essence of the drag drop, the whole essence of connecting the various connectors and everything will not be possible. You won't be able to further add to it.
All right, okay. We do have a set of more questions that have come in through a different email channel, so I'll just like to throw them as well.
So
So one of the users asked that they have over 1,000 rows worth of data, and it's likely to grow further down the road, and they would like to display this in a tabular form. Should they be worried about the performance of their app on the end user front?
performance, a very very important question. I understand everybody needs to know about performance. uh, Basically, performance, 1,000 is a very small number, to be honest. Now we can talk about maybe millions of rows of data. And I'm assuming that when you say that hey, the data is going to grow, it depends upon from where are you getting that data and where are you showing. So if you are getting say millions of rows of data or from a database and you're doing select star from query, and if your database is uh, uh, if it is not using a pagination, I mean, if you're not using pagination in your query or something like that, the database might get its own performance issues. So DronaHQ has nothing to do with the performance of your database or the front end, to be very honest. Whatever is rendering on the uh, browser, either the browser or the database, how you're querying is handling uh, the performance. To be very honest, if you're using say table grid control, and you use pagination to it, so you can get your data in uh, page wise options, then your performance is not going to be hampered at all. It is going to be like perfect, zero delay. So to speak broadly as well, these are the scenarios that your engineering team, we have thought about all the scenarios. We have given a lot of options to write the queries in a simplest format. The way you want to display your data or get the data, and the way you want to filter. So we have given a lot of options while you are querying your data. You want to add your filters, you want to manipulate all the data once you get the data, and then you want to render and show it. So engineering team has really worked on all these elements while you want to say display it in a table grid or in a chart or some format. So the answer is two ways: how you query your data and how you want to write a, and that will impact the performance. Otherwise the performance, you don't need to worry about the performance of your apps.
All right, thank you, Kenji, for that answer. Um, Going on to the next one, and this was raised by Alex on our Questions AMA channel. He is evaluating DronaHQ Glide software for a dashboard app that will be shared with external partners. And they might require an integration with Google Sheets to read data from and write data to, and probably also send some emails using another connector. So he wants to know if this is something he can do in DronaHQ itself without looking at other services, say like Zapier and Integromat.
Absolutely, Alex. Absolutely, this is very much possible. We have ready connectors for Google Sheets. Google Sheets APIs are a little. Uh, it can be a little time consuming to do it on your own. Otherwise, so that is why we have ready connectors for Google Sheets or Google Suite, to be honest. And you can read and write data from your Google Sheets. Create. We have plotly charts. Uh, Controls available, so you can create fantastic dashboards. uh, and to send, I think the last part of the question was to send probably emails or something to
Emails.
the,
Yes.
right? So for that you can connect it to your emailing system like SendGrid or G Suite or any other mailing system that you're using. uh, so on a click of a button, or you can get all the data into a table grid, and you have a multi select option. You can select whom do you want to send those emails to, and you can add a button, and on a click of a button you can write an action flow wherein you can connect it to your emailing system, SendGrid in this case, and maybe you can write an email template body there with all the variables and personalization or anything that you want to add from that manipulation of data. You won't require any Zapier or any other third party tool to run those emails. This can be done absolutely easily on DronaHQ.
Okay. Okay. Um, the next question, I think it fits well after the one we just answered, is Manya. She wants to know if we can share our apps or we can create white labeled apps, mobile apps, and share these with external users.
Yes, absolutely. DronaHQ suppose white labeling of apps. We have been into mobile apps, and we have very fantastic mobile output for the apps that you create on DronaHQ as a platform. And white labeling is an option available in business plans and onwards. And you can absolutely create your app, have your own logo, branding, then, and share it across.
All right. Okay. Himanshu is pretty curious again, and he wants to understand if we can use React to add custom UI components in DroneHQ.
Um, no. Himanshu, we have a very fantastic tool, just like our editor, which is a drag and drop UI builder. We also have a custom UI component builder. So if you want to create your own controls like the React controls and components, we have something as called as designer. Not many are aware of that designer, but sorry to break this secret out, we have something as a designer, and you can create your own custom UI components within designer and share it across uh, uh, within your applications, and you can start using it maybe also with your teammates, and you can start using it.
Okay, the designer, something new for everybody to explore. Um, Another question that was raised by somebody in the email thread is what are tasks and how can they get to an estimate to understand which plan would suit them?
This is a very, very common and a most interesting question that we come across almost every time. So the currency on which DronaHQ licensing is based is tasks. We have all our plans have unlimited users. We do not cap you on the number of users who are building the application or number of users who are uh, accessing those applications. Unlimited users in all the plans. What we have as a currency that licensing model or the business model works on is tasks. Tasks are something which is like any operation that you perform or your app performs uh, externally, which is like any API call that you do, you read up, look up, or you write back to your database, or any. So it's in very easier terms. If I have to say, it is like an API call or an external call that you make is a task. So the higher the usage of your applications, the more if they're going to open it every multiple times in a day, and they're going to read and write a lot of stuff, and the way you have designed your application, that will impact the number of tasks. So if there are 5 users who are going to use it once a month, it is hardly going to be any task. But if, and irrespective of the number of screens or how complex your app is or how much integrations you have made or how many connectors you have added, uh, the tasks are the simplest economy on which you can understand the concept of plan or the pricing that will happen in DronaHQ. So we have made these buckets for task, and accordingly you can choose a plan. Um, so I hope I have answered your query. So basically, any API call or any outside the application read or write that you do, uh, that is a task. More the number of users, the higher the frequency, the more the consumption of task. More the number of users, but less the frequency, less the consumption of task. So how many times you are accessing the app and how many calls you are making, that is the task.
Okay, thanks, Kinjal. Keeping a view of the time we have, I'm just going to take up a couple more questions and then we are going to bring this session to a close. So, the next up is a user has a tool that she wants to try out on the platform, and she wants to know if you need to have a database ready in advance, or is there a way to ad hoc spin up the database on DroneHQ itself?
Uh, uh, DronaHQ has its own built-in database. Just if you want to, try out and spill out, ad hoc spin up a database. You don't want to use the Google Sheet. Maybe you can use a Google Sheet. Just an example. But we do have something called as Sheets within DronaHQ. And if you want to just try out and build a basic tool and do stuff, we have this, and you can access it within the platform itself. You don't need to add a connector or anything. You can just add a sheet, name it, add your data like any Google Sheet, and start using it within your application.
All right. Next up, we have a couple of questions that are more pertaining to the kind of tools people can use. So I'm just going to throw those across. The first one is, can I build a tool that would act as an automatic credit decision engine, where the tool would take some input from the user and the app will automatically apply some rules to generate the number of credits or the amount of credit the user can get? Is that something that we can do on Zone HQ?
Absolutely, it's very much possible. Probably not just this. Many of our users have also created like calculators and premium calculators or ROI calculators and stuff like that. Taking a small input from a user, and you can create fantastic looking UIs for those calculators as well. And and the app will, you can add your business logic to on top of it without any programming. Yes. The beauty of DronaHQ is you don't really need to know JavaScript or any other programming language in detail. You can do all, even such kind of calculators with just basic knowledge of basic business logic, if you can apply to it. So absolutely, this is possible.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kinjal, for that answer. The next one is so the user wants to create a web application to collect again some information and embed it on their website, and probably then submit the data from this to an Airtable or different kind of database. Can the user perform that kind of a functionality with DronaHQ? And is it also possible to create more such public-facing applications on the platform?
Yes, we are seeing many such questions about public facing apps. Yes, absolutely, you can create public facing apps.
Hmm.
When we say internal tools, the platform is very broad. Let me correct myself. It is not just for internal use. Obviously, you can have internal tools behind your authentication and your ADs and stuff like that within the organization. But also, you can create public facing apps. You can embed the apps on your websites. You can have your forms. You can have your calculators. Just to give you, sorry to just go a little away from the question. One of our customer, ref for me, I want to just mention them. They have this whole app created and embedded on their website. A very nice tool if you want to go and use it. It's reference a referee. You can find a referee if you're having a match in your county or in your location and you want to have a referee. You can find a referee and the referee can go and register themselves and they can find a match to go and attend to, and something like that. uh, Small plugin for the customer, but I love the product. Very simple app, very simple use case, and beautifully executed single-handedly by a single person, and it's embedded on their website.
Okay, that is a lovely use case, and we should definitely be calling them up to share more such stories and how it's working out for them or how they created it. Moving on to our last question, and I'm sad it's the last one because we'll have to come to a close after that. Um, the user is looking for a solution to create a data capture tool with some hidden sections that need to change dynamically based on a value that will be read from an API. Is that something, is that a use case they should look at DroneHQ for? So we are talking
Absolutely.
about dynamic, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So dynamically, you can obviously you can get your values from the API. Even while you are querying your APIs, you can have variables passed uh, from the controls, and you can assign control values from a control to the second control. Um, Coming to this, if you want to capture, you want to create a data capture tool, and with conditional formatting and dynamically changing values based on the API value fetched, it is absolutely possible. You have to add your uh, variables and set your values within the screen, and then probably put condition formatting, condition visibility, and achieve this.
Brilliant. Okay. Kinjal, do you think we have time to take two more questions? I'll just throw those
Yes,
across.
yes, yes, absolutely. Um, Please feel free to ask more questions. We would love to answer as much. And if we are out of time, we would like to cover this also in some channels within the Discord server. And if we have very dedicated questions coming forward, we might get people from the product team to answer specific questions. Say, let's have a session on uh, all the connectors, or a session on all authentication related questions, or a session all on all use case related questions. Maybe that will be more helpful. Please go ahead, shoot your questions.
So the user wants to know if there is any kind of audit logging available, and I'm assuming that it's in terms of security and it's kind of an enterprise situation where they would like to keep a tabs on what kind of actions are being taking place.
Absolutely. As I said, we are enterprise ready platform, and security and usability are very close to us. Any such platform, we want to make the users life as well as the When I say users, I mean the developers. So when developers are using it, we understand that not everybody has access to everything, and we have put a lot of permissioning across the platform, wherein what kind of apps or what kind of data particular developer or a user can access, not just from app perspective, also from the development perspective. So to make the developers life easier, we have a lot of these features. It also, audit logging is also one of the feature. You can find that within the analytics part of the platform, wherein lot of user activities, your data lookup, your API calls, API added, deleted, access, everything is being audited, and all of it that is logged. So developer productivity and friendliness to developer tool is obviously close to our heart. At the same time, we are very much enterprise ready. So all these features, rest assured, are there with the platform.
Okay. To close things off, and since we are on the subject of developer productivity and helping them get things out the door faster, we've talked about web apps and making mobile responsive apps. Is there a provision to also create iOS or Android friendly applications?
So all our mobile apps are iOS and Android friendly applications. So we have been an mobile first company, mobile enterprise, mobile app development company initially, and as I said, from the history that we started off. So all our apps are very responsive, and also we, not just responsiveness, but we also have a lot of native features of each, may it be your keypad or your barcode scanning or maps and stuff like that. A lot of native features of each of them are also there in the control section. You will find that, and you can definitely create a mobile, iOS, Android app. You can have this white label according to your branding and use it.
Brilliant. Okay, okay. I think we've got a great deal of questions covered in this session. However, we are running short on time, so I'm going to bring this session to a close. For everybody who is attending, we're so grateful that you had the time you took out the time to join us. And we are going to go back to all the questions that you've shared to see if we have missed any of them, and I will personally help you out and answer those questions. Kinjal, if there's something that you'd like to share before we close off this session.
It was a fantastic session. I loved answering most of the all of the questions, and I would
Mhm.
and look forward to having more such questions. Probably, uh, um, even if you have any other questions, please put across on the channel AMA questions AMA, yes, and we'll keep a recording of this available somewhere. And we'll announce that soon in the on the server, and we hope to get more such mates answer all your other questions soon, probably in coming weeks. Thank you
Great.
so much for your time. Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful interacting.
Thank you, Kinjal. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope you have a great day ahead. See you all.
See you all. Bye.
Bye.